I don't give a shit about your 1500 SAT score. Eat under 1500 calories a day, and then I'll be impressed. If you treat her better than she treats you, she'll get bored. Don't just give her your attention. Make her earn it. She's not your co-pilot. She's your flight attendant.
Live from Philadelphia, your man, Donovan Sharp.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to the 417th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. It is Thursday, February 28th, 2019. We are multicasting live, as usual, to multiple YouTube channels, multiple Facebook pages, as well as Twitter. So wherever you are and however you are watching or listening, thank you for making it a part of your day. All right, let's get right to it. A few years back, I owned several rental properties in Las Vegas. I had 3 different people manage my properties at different times during my stint as a landlord. And the best PM I ever hired was a guy by the name of Jeff. This guy had excellent work ethic. He was always on time. And the only time he ever missed work was when he had food poisoning. And even then, he actually still tried to come into the office to email files to himself so he could work from home. I mean, this dude was rock steady. Well, Jeff ended up getting married and moving to Utah, so I had to hire another property manager. Now, admittedly, I was in a bit of a rush to hire someone because I didn't want to have to be at the office all day. I had done that already. I didn't want to take phone calls from tenants. I didn't want to have to deal with maintenance requests or rent payments. I didn't want to have to deal with any of that. I wanted to keep living the Vegas life. I wanted to keep cruising down the Vegas Strip for new girls. I wanted to party. I wanted to go to the club. I wanted to do blow all night. So I hired the first person who applied for the job, who happened to be a Puerto Rican woman, originally from New York, by the name of Yolanda. Now, Yolanda, she interviewed very well. She showed up on time. She had reliable transportation. She presented well. She was well-spoken. And she had a bit of an edge. This impressed me. That edge. Because you have to have an edge when you're dealing with things like late rent payments, maintenance requests, or unreasonable maintenance requests and so forth. Just typical things you have to deal with as a landlord. I didn't call her references or ask her about her last employment because deep down, I didn't want to disqualify her. I didn't want to find a reason not to hire her so I could continue being an idiot in Vegas like every guy dreams about at some point. So I hired her on the spot and told her she could start the next day, which was Thursday. Thursday and Friday, those were her first 2 days. So Thursday and Friday, she showed up. She went through the training, met most of my tenants, met my maintenance guy, soaked up the data, learned Sage, which is the alternative to QuickBooks accounting software. That's the accounting software that I used. Little less expensive alternative for small business owners. I mean, it really seemed as though she was going to do quite well. Well, Monday, she showed up a few minutes late. No big deal. I didn't say anything. 6 minutes in my mind, that's not going to make me or break me. No big deal. Tuesday, she showed up about a half an hour late. Wednesday, she showed up on time, but she took an hour and a half lunch. She only gets an hour. Thursday and Friday, she showed up on time, took an hour lunch, but the following Tuesday, Yolanda was a no-call, no-show. So Tuesday, I call her up and I asked her where she was. She gave me some sob story about how her kid was sick and about how she had to rush him to the ER and all the rest of that, right? She apologized for not calling, but she said she was hysterical because her son is her world and she wouldn't know what she'd do without her. Well, turns out, according to her, she said her son had a fever, far from the life or death situation that she had alluded to on the phone. So I let that slide. Over the next 3 weeks, Yolanda was always late. I can't remember the last time she actually showed up to work on time. She took extended lunches. She'd leave the office without telling me. I had tenants calling me on my cell phone, telling me that no one was answering the phone at the office. My maintenance guy could never get a hold of her. I mean, dude, it was a mess. It was an abject disaster. The last straw was when she was a no-call, no-show, which was now the second time she did this to me. And at that point, I fired her. Now, she did the usual thing that bad female employees do when they lose their jobs because of bad performance, attendance, or both. She tried to apologize. Oh, Donovan, I'm a single mom. I have no other job prospects. I was relying on this job, blah, blah, blah. I didn't budge. She was out. I was done with her. Well, a couple of weeks later, I get a summons from the Clark County Civil Court. I think it was Small Claims Court, informing me that Yolanda had sued me for wrongful termination. What happened in court was both unbelievable but expected. And I'll tell you about that and how that ties in handling disrespect from your woman after the break. We'll be right back.
The Donovan Sharp mobile app is finally here. You can schedule and pay for consultations, buy TSR merchandise, read Donovan's books, make donations, and much more. And you can do it all right from the app. The Donovan Sharp mobile app is available to patrons only. You won't find it at the App Store, the Google Play Store, or anywhere else. Get your hands on the first and only mobile app in Manosphere history. Download the Donovan Sharp mobile app today.
Get your official TSR gear at the Donovan Sharp merchandise store. T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, and much more. New styles and items are added every month. You can look good and support the show by repping TSR Towers. Go to DonovanSharp.com/merch, or you can buy TSR gear right from the Donovan Sharp mobile app.
Always trying to say I shouldn't be with that chick. The real reason why is cause you want that bitch, but you ain't never been her type. So they always want to hate, guess I'm doing something right. You're telling me I broke, dude, what's new?
Welcome back to the 417th edition of TSR Live. It is good to have you guys in this evening. Be sure to tune into TSR Primetime later on at 5:30 Eastern on DonovanSharp.com or the Donovan Sharp mobile app. Follow, add, and like me on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Donovan Sharp on either platform if you have the Donovan Sharp mobile app. Be sure to add me on Instadon. Air quotes, Instadon. Guys, subscribe to my newsletter to stay in the know on all things Donovan Sharp. Being on my email list also comes in handy in the event I get deplatformed here or anywhere else. Again, not going to blow up your inbox, guys. Don't worry about that. But if you don't want to miss anything, be sure to subscribe to the weekly newsletter. RP Mamba says that song is great. Devin loves Dick Police. She doesn't love people who Dick Police. She actually loves that song, Dick Police. It was quite funny. I had to send her the MP. By the way, that's by Dick Police is by Will the Coldest. You guys can find his work on either YouTube or SoundCloud.com. Just search Will the Coldest. All right, let's check the chat here. See who is in TSR Towers. Chase Rubidoo, shout out to you. Good to see you in here. Rob Cruz is second. Hellfighter is third. Charles Caballero gets a hit cleanup. Mike Shinnery, good to see you in here, man. Looks like Mike Shinnery is double dipping. He's in both chat areas. Spray Yo Face, my man HP, who is also Spray Yo Face, says buckle up. Yes, sir. Good to see you in here. James Martinez, good to see you in here. Yes, James, I did get your text about the pre-workout. Good information, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I have so much going on that I had completely forgotten to hit you about the whole pre-workout thing. But when you sent it to me, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I asked James about that. But I do appreciate you sending me that information. Corey Busby from down there in Mississippi. That's how they call Mississippi down in Mississippi. They don't actually call it Mississippi. They say Mississippi. The Book of Alpharonomy. Good to see you in here as well. Molotov Cocktail says it is hard to find a good... Man, I'm telling you, man, you ain't lying. Finding a... And the thing is I'll tell you guys what happened with Yolanda in a minute. The thing is after I fired Yolanda and all that fiasco, I actually hired... Jeff was 27 when he left me. I actually ended up hiring another 24-year-old guy who had a sales background. And he didn't work for me that long because at that point I was in the transition of, moving to Reno and there were some other things going on. But yeah, needless to say, after the whole Yolanda thing, I took my time in hiring a property in hiring a property manager. But yes, yes, Molotov Cocktail, it is very, very difficult to find a good property manager, a good, reliable property manager at that. Yes, guys, definitely hit the like button. You guys can hit the like button in here as well, because, of course, these Diet Donovan Sharp episodes are going to stay up on YouTube, so I try to clean them up as much as possible, try not to swear too much. No provocative or lewd imagery, no objectification of females or anything like that. I would never do such a thing. Kassif says he's in the gym doing leg day, getting some red pill knowledge from the man himself. Jonathan from Modern Life Dating is in the house. He just released his body language course. You guys can get that on donovansharp.com or on the Donovan Sharp mobile app. If you guys want to know how to read the body language of hot girls, you guys need to get your hands on that as well. Molotov Cocktail says, sounds very Puerto Rican. Yeah, dude, Yolanda, she was a piece of work, man. Piece of work. Ill Will says, that's why I live in at-will states. Oh, Jesus. Ay, ay, ay. Josh says he knows exactly where this is going, coming from someone who rents out properties. Yeah, man. Yeah. Dude, when you... Oh, yeah. Ay, ay, ay. Mark Gordon checking in from Ireland. Keto for Life says another banging topic. Kyle Mitchell is in the house. Hopefully he is not at work. Hopefully he's not at work. Kyle, you at work? Kyle, we don't want you to get fired, man. We don't want you to get fired. Myron Gaines says, I'm in here to hear facts from Sharp, the God. I don't really consider myself a god. I'm more of a, I don't know, I'm more of a demon. I remember when I watched, just real quick, I remember I watched, what was it? Evander Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis. And I was friends with all these guys from the youth group. They're all, I was 19, 20 years old. They were all 16, 17 years old. They're all at my house because I had pay-per-view and all that. I had a job and all that, a car and money and all that. And they were all pulling for Evander Holyfield because, oh, praise God, he came to the ring, you know, singing songs. And then, of course, we find out Evander Holyfield had like 60 children by like 40 chicks. And then when Lennox Lewis got the decision or ended up winning the fight, I had one friend of mine. He was my best friend for a while. He says, Satan wins again. Made them all uncomfortable. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. Dimitri Foster, good to see you in here as well. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I appreciate your support. So before the break, I told you guys about the property manager that I foolishly hired, who showed up late, took extended lunches, and was easily the worst employee I'd ever had. She ended up suing me for wrongful termination. Well, here's what happened. I ended up winning a summary judgment because she was late to court. Guys, I kid you not. This chick ended up showing late to court. The proceedings started at 9. Yolanda's name started with an A. So her case was, I don't know, like the 3rd or 4th on the docket. And by the time it was our turn, she wasn't there. The judge gave me a summary judgment. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what a summary judgment is, it means that the judge, long story, you know, to dumb it down just in layman's terms, the judge, it means that the judge finds in favor of the party who is in court. If someone isn't there, like if someone sues you, now this doesn't happen in criminal court. Not that I have experience with that. But I've been sued I've been sued 3 times. I got a summary judgment with this one. But if someone sues you or you sue someone in civil court and you don't show up to court, whoever doesn't show up loses the case automatically. So if you're there and the plaintiff or defendant is not, the judge will give you what's called a summary judgment. This is not legal advice. This is just experience. And I took a year of paralegal school. Again, not legal advice. Disclaimer. So at this point, right? I got my summary judgment. I don't know. It's probably 9:45, 10 o'clock. The proceedings started at 9. The funny thing is that on the way out, my lawyer and I actually saw Yolanda running down the hall. Now, I was hoping that she would see us, but she didn't, which would have been way too funny. And it was so funny because, you know, the judge is like, Miss, I don't want to give her name out on the air. He was like, yeah, Miss A, are you in the court? Miss A, are you in the court? And I remember looking at my attorney, just kind of smiling and shaking my head. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Dude, and you could see in the, in the statement that I made, hey, I fired her because she came to work late, blah, 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 blah. And wouldn't you know it, she wasn't there. So the judge kind of chuckled, all right, boom, I fined for Mr. Sharp. Have a good day. And that was that. What that whole fiasco taught me was that I had a scarcity mindset when I lost Jeff, my former reliable superstar property manager. He is the best employee I ever had, and he made my life much easier. And when he left, I was in a hurry to replace him with whoever could basically walk, talk, and breathe. I did not vet Yolanda properly. I didn't call her references. I didn't call her former employers. I didn't run a criminal background check, which in hindsight was extremely unwise because she would have been handling money, checks, had access to proprietary information. But luckily enough, she didn't stick around long enough to get to collect any rent. I saw that she was well-spoken, that she had her own transportation, and I decided to hire her on the spot so that I could continue to living the lifestyle I was used to that Jeff afforded me by being who and what he was as an employee. When I didn't say anything about her coming to work late on her first day, guys, that was the beginning of the end. She disrespected me, and I did nothing. I brushed it off and made excuses because I had a scarcity mindset. I didn't want to lose her. I didn't want to have to be in the office for 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Had I taken her aside and say, hey, you show up late one more time and you're gone, I could have avoided all of that nonsense. Now, maybe Yolanda would have ended up quitting. Maybe she would have stayed. Either way, that behavior would have stopped whether she was employed by me or not. Guys, it is the same with women. We see a pretty face, we see a nice body, we see a nice ass, and we commit without vetting her properly. She's on her best behavior and we get hooked. Yolanda was on her best behavior Thursday and Friday. I said, man, this is great. She already knows Sage. Everything is good. Then the first time she disrespects you even a little bit, we don't say anything because we want to keep sleeping with her. I didn't say anything because I didn't want Yolanda to get mad and walk out the door. Never mind the fact that there are plenty of girls out there. We have a scarcity mindset, so we think that if we piss her off by handling her disrespect, she will leave and we'll be alone. I had that same scarcity mindset. Listen, there were plenty of other people out there that could have worked for me. But because I didn't want to put in the work necessary to hire a good employee, I ended up paying the price. What ends up happening is that the disrespectful gestures, the disrespectful statements, the disrespectful behaviors keep escalating. And before we know it, we've got a woman who is constantly out of pocket. You're the guy that people see in public who walks behind his woman in public. You're the guy whose woman orders her own meals at restaurants and flirts with the waiter. That's you. You're the guy who gets yelled at by his woman in public. Now, we may think that women disrespect us for many, many reasons, but there's really only one reason they disrespect us. And that reason is because we allow them to. Women do to you what you allow them to. I let Yolanda get away with coming into work late twice and taking a long lunch in her first week of employment. Is there any wonder why she continued to push the envelope? Yolanda's behavior was my fault because I allowed it to go unchecked the first time she did it. Gentlemen, your woman is going to test you. She is going to test you early and often. This is what we call shit testing. But women also shit test by exhibiting disrespectful behavior. Like playing on her phone when she's with you, texting her ex, flaking on you when you guys have a meetup planned, talking to you like a child, withholding sex. The list goes on and on. And before you know it, she's cursing you out in public over something silly. But because you don't want to lose her, because you have that scarcity mindset, that scarcity mentality, you don't do anything. You don't check her. You don't correct her bad behavior. Instead, what you do is you Google how to handle disrespect. And you ended up here on Thursday, February 28th, 2019, wanting to know why your woman is disrespecting you and what you can do about it. So now that I've talked about why your woman disrespects you, I'm going to talk about how to prevent disrespectful behavior in the first place and how to handle it when and if it ever happens again at the bottom of the hour on TSR Primetime. And I'm going to have Steve the Dean Williams on to help me out. Let's check the chat here one more time. All right. No, we cracked the 100 mark. Oh, no, we're back down to 98. Oaktown's finest making an appearance. Legend P says, greetings from Calgary. Great show as always. Appreciate that. RP Mamba says, looked up the artist on SoundCloud, but Dick Police isn't on there. Did the song get taken down? I don't know. Beats me. Dramatic Irony wants to know, do I have two YouTube channels? I've actually got about a dozen. DI. Got about a dozen. Lorenzo Davis says, a prophet is better. Absolutely. I don't know. I don't like to call. I don't know. I don't really like to assign labels to myself. Listen, I like to assign labels to people. I like calling some people fake ass pro blacks. I'll label those guys all day. And oh by the way, Monday's show, 8 signs you might be a fake ass pro black. Stay tuned. Might piss a lot of you off. I might lose some subscribers, might lose some patrons, but I'm going to tell it like it is. The dollar signs be damned. Double fisting on TSR today. Y'all need to get the app. That is an interesting way to put it. Interesting way to put it. Ay. Yeah, Molotov Cocktail says Lennox was the man. You know, Lennox Lewis is probably one of the most unsung heavyweights in history. Lennox Lewis, don't get it twisted. He is probably a top 7 heavyweight of all time. Lennox Lewis was excellent. He was great. He didn't get the love because he wasn't really an American. He was British, you know. It's kind of weird. But Lennox Lewis is absolutely one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Make no mistake about it. Chase Rubidoo says, I've been in court 5 times for traffic violations. Wear a suit, make the judge laugh, guaranteed, reduced to no fines. My mom, an attorney, taught me that. She was spot on. Chase, are you black or white? Listen, I don't want to make this a racial thing, but I've been to court many, many times. Many times. And don't get me wrong, I've caught some breaks. Like, I don't want you guys to make any mistake about that. I'm not going to get on my high horse about the justice system and all that, because that's not what I do. But if you're black, I'm impressed. I don't think, oh God, I'm going to tell it myself. The very first, listen, I'm really telling myself. The very first time I got arrested, I was 19 years old. I got caught street racing in Greensboro, North Carolina. Right? I'm 19 years old. 19 years old. I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. I get busted for street racing. Was let out on my own recognizance because, of course, I didn't have a criminal record at that time. I'd never been arrested. So I get in front of the judge, and she's an older black woman. And she looks at me and she says, Mr. Sharp, she says, you appear to be a very intelligent young man. Because I gave my spiel and told her I was sorry and all that. She says, you appear to be a very intelligent young man. She says, a young man like you, you're in college, you've got your whole life ahead of you. She says, there is no reason for you to be in here now for this. And I said, no, Your Honor, I won't do it again. She says, but I'll tell you this. If I see you in here again, bring your toothbrush. I'll never forget that. And she let me go. She dropped all the charges. For whatever reason, I had a public defender. I couldn't afford a lawyer, right? I'm 19, had a public defender. He talked to the judge, talked to the DA. It was my first offense. Dude, she did me a solid. No community service, no nothing. She says, if I see you back in here, bring your toothbrush. And that's all I needed to hear. Now, I've seen the inside of many jail cells and courtrooms since then. Never in front of that judge. Never again in Guilford County. Ay, ay, ay. Chris Von Erich says, Donovan, Long Island representing. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, man, you're an hour and a half away from me. I'm in Philly. Oh, Chase Rubinu is... Oh, so he is a Lakota Sioux. Okay, so you're Indian. All right, well, good stuff. Well, never mind then. Registered with Rosebud Sioux Tribe in South Dakota. All right, very good. All right, well, hey, listen. Your mother is a smart woman. For real. For real. Yeah, I mean, I've worn suits to court. Listen, I've caught a few breaks in court. And really the only time I've caught a few breaks is when I pay my lawyer a crap load of money. Like, he has pulled, oh my God, I don't want to get, listen, he has pulled some miracles. And I am fairly certain that my criminal defense attorney, who I have paid tens of thousands of dollars to get me out of trouble in Vegas, he's got to have naked pictures of, he's got to have pictures of judges or DAs, you know, with prostitutes or something. Dude, this guy used to pull rabbits out of hats, man. I have no idea how he did it. Didn't ask, didn't want to know. All I knew is that I was a free man. That's all I knew. Public pretender. Good stuff. Good stuff. Like I've said all week, guys, TSR Primetime is definitely not YouTube friendly, and that is why it is not on this channel. So if you want the 100% real, no BS content, unfiltered, strong opinions, strong facts that you guys have come to expect from me, tune into TSR Primetime at the bottom of the hour on DonovanSharp.com or the Donovan Sharp mobile app. Go to DonovanSharp.com at the top of the page. Just click the Watch Live link, and you will be able to watch TSR Prime Time. That's going to do it for this edition of TSR Live. Make sure you subscribe to my weekly newsletter. Be sure to tune into TSR Prime Time, which is in just a few minutes on DonovanSharp.com with special guest Steve, the Dean Williams. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Get away from me, you lame ass song, leave me in peace. Always trying to say I shouldn't be with that chick. The real reason why is cause you want that bitch, but you ain't never been her type. So they always wanna hate, guess I'm doing something right. You're telling me I'm broke, dude, what's new? Having money never gonna lay you. On top of that, all these gold diggers gonna take you and break you. Monetarily rape you. Oh, they love it when I talk my shit. It's why these simp dudes stay policing my dick. If they can have it, nobody can. Y'all be acting more like bitches than a man. Damn, you be fighting over chicks trying to throw hands. They don't even know they going outside. Yeah, how Lord now ready to attack. The thirst real with this one, goddamn. He don't get none, he the dick police. Looking like a bitch, he the dick police. Telling me to dick, get away from me. Your lame ass song, leave me in peace. He don't get none, he the dick police. Looking like a bitch, he the dick police.